And
well, come on inside and get yourself something cool to drink.
We back.
Hey, Bachi.
Boy. Let me tell y'all something, man. I was upset today, man. I was in my feelings a little bit this morning. I was just doing my little work. I was just minding my little business. I know I got to come to Bleacher Report today and talk about it, man. And man, I was a little upset. I was like, damn, boy, all this faith that Bleacher Report got in me to bring some good Cowboy talk, man. All this, you know what I'm saying? Let's just be honest. All this money being thrown around from all these different entities, and they're relying on the Cowboys to do well. And of course, when the Cowboys do well, the money goes up a little bit because the views are good. When the Cowboys are doing well, Cowboy controversy sells as well. Don't get me mistaken. It just don't hit as well as a 13-5 Cowboy team that's going to the 13-4 that's going to the playoffs and all this kind of stuff, right? When the Cowboys are losing, the news gets a bit weird. People tap out, and it is what it is. Let me tell you something. I know the Cowboys suck, and that's bad for business. And I was a little upset about how bad we look versus Atlanta. Draft season is gonna be lit, boy. Draft season. Hey, I would love to win a football game, Chad. Don't get me mistaken. Don't get me mistaken. I would love to win a football game. Let's just be clear. I would love to be a playoff team, a contending football team. But boy, draft season is gonna be a banger, boy. A top 10 pick. Boy, y'all know draft season get wild when you got a top 10 pick. So let's just see what the business is. All right, let's see what the business is. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Shake my hand, fist bump. Love y'all. Bleach Report tapped me on the shoulder about multiple different topics that we can tap into today. Shouts out to Bleach Report for holding us down in that way. And we're not talking about draft right now. So y'all just leave. We're not talking about draft right now. We're talking about many things later on. Okay, we're gonna tap into that. But I kind of wanted to do two things today. I wanted to give a general idea or review about how I think yesterday's game was. But then Bleach Report tapped me on the shoulder and say, yo, Voch, the trade deadline is a hot topic out here. And we would love to know from a Dallas Cowboys perspective, how do you think the trade deadline is going to go for your Dallas Cowboys? I did a show like this already. Don't miss shows, by the way. Y'all can tap in and see how that went. But it was basically a lot of me saying, well, Bleach Report, this is how I feel. Cowboy wise, we probably won't do big trade type moves or anything because the Cowboys don't do that. But in my mind, we might trade for a bunch of regular people that won't cost a lot of money, that won't cost a big draft picks, some characters that we probably never heard of before. That was my sentiments about a week ago, when Bleach Report tapped on me to talk about the trade deadline stuff. Now I personally feel like we shouldn't be trading for nobody. Hey man, we shouldn't be trading for no damn body. We should just hold on to what we got. We should just stay where we are. And let me just give a little music to talk over. This is the problem here, right? When I was doing my Bleach Report show and I was talking about trading last time or whatever, what you typically want to do is you want to find a team that's selling, right? You want to find a team that's selling. Check. Can y'all hear me? We good? We straight? We live? Cool. What you want to do is you want to find a team that's selling. So while you're finding a team that's selling, that selling team would likely be a team that's not good, right? So in my mind, when I'm looking for teams to trade with my Cowboys, right? I'm like, oh, well, Miami's losing. Let's go get Raheem Mostert. And then I was like, oh, well, Carolina's losing. All right, bet. Let's go get Miles Sanders or something like that, right? In my mind, I was trying to find terrible teams because those are the ones that's fire selling, right? Go call the Saints. They just fired their head. Let's go. Chad, let's just keep it a buck. We one of them bad teams that should be selling. I'm just... Dog, we ain't no different from them. We ain't no different than them. On top of the news that your starting quarterback got hurt, but hey, we're losing anyway. Oh, but Voch, Deron Bland coming back, Parsons is coming back, D-Law, Marshawn, man, we was losing when they was on the field. So it don't matter. It don't matter. So at this point, especially looking at the landscape of the conference or whatever, right? The NFC North is probably going to have 3 teams: Green Bay, Minnesota, and Detroit might be the best team in football. You look at the East, the Washington Football Wizards and the Eagles are in clear first and second place right now in regards to us. There may be some type of fight with the West. They may get 1 or 2 teams in. Dog, we ain't good enough to compete with none of them. We ain't good enough to compete with none of them. If you look at the South, I mean, they got the Falcons and the Buccaneers. So this is where you got teams in the conference to where all the conference got multiples of teams that can go to the postseason, 1 or 2. We third in ours. So, Chet, you got to come to a realization, man. Like, yeah, I mean, it's cool. And Jerry going to come out here and sell some kind of hope that we can turn this season around. He's going to sell some little nonsense or whatever. But, dog, I got eyes. I'm a dude with a camera and a microphone, but I got eyes. I can see. So if Jerry Jones come out and be like, now I've seen teams do this. I've seen teams. Y'all know Jerry be huffing and puffing when he don't know what to say. Like when Jerry got practice, he got a script. Jerry know exactly what he gonna say, but you hit his ass with a curveball, he go, I've seen worse than this, and I've seen teams worse than this. Turn it around, but that ain't gonna be us. That ain't gonna be us. So I'm not here for any kind of optimism copium that Jerry Jones comes out here to try to sell to us, because this ain't gonna be us. So with that being said, with Bleach Report tapped me on the show and said, well, Voch, what do you think should happen at the trade deadline? I think the Cowboys should either sit still or sell pieces. Sit still or sell pieces. I see people in the chat right now, they're saying, but Voch, should we be trading Micah Parsons or anything of that nature? I don't think you can realistically trade Micah Parsons, right? I mean, you can, but there's people that are thinking that Micah Parsons is going to net you some type of Herschel Walker type trade. Football is different. These teams are smarter now, and nobody's going to give you 3 first-round picks, a second, and 2 5s, and you swap 7s. Nobody's going to do that for Micah Parsons, right? They're going to offer you a 1, maybe a 3. And look, that 1 may be this 1 and like next year's 1, and maybe a 3. And that's me. That's the ceiling of it. That's, I think, as high as it can go. In my mind, I think you're a better team when Micah Parsons just on your team. But if we keep it a buck here, by people that you can trade, hey, I think Deron Bland would net you some picks back. All pro type guy, Pro Bowl type guy. Broke the record for pick 6s, so his name kind of rings a little bit. People know Deron Bland, and he's on a rookie deal still. So I think you can get some picks back for Deron Bland that's not in the day 3s or whatever. I think same for Oso Digizoo. I think he's a guy, rookie contract. I think he's a guy that has enough good film that a team could look at me like, oh, yeah, I'll take this guy and all this kind of stuff. I can do something with Oso Digizoo, and he goes to their team and whatever. And I think that'll net you like a 3 or a 4. But I think in these situations where you trying to like trade old dudes, like what can we get for Zach Martin? You ain't getting nothing enough for Zach Martin. You ain't getting nothing for Zach Martin. Nobody's gonna give you nothing for Tank Lawrence at this point. You're not gonna trade Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. That's just not even a thing because they just got new money. So I don't want to hear nobody say nothing about that. You're not gonna trade Trey Diggs. Trey Diggs just got new money. You're not gonna. Hey, Voch, how much you think we can get for like Turpin or something? Turpin's gonna get you a 9th round pick. A 9th round pick, and that just is what it is. You might as well just hold on to Turpin. It just is what it is. It just is what it is. So at this point, I don't think none of us are expecting the Dallas Cowboys to be a good football team. So why are we trading for players? Like, why would we even think about trading for players, especially where we at now? If we were in the luxury, which is another reason why when draft season comes around, I'm not going to advocate for a running back in the first round. And I'm not one of them dudes that don't believe that running back should be drafted in the first round. Like, look at the Lions right now. The Lions says, damn your value, or what you think position value means, right? I'm gonna get this tight end running back and linebacker all in this same year, all these low position value things. But the Lions did the work. They drafted their D line. They got a Liam McNeil to kind of anchor their D line. They drafted Panay Sewell. They drafted Ragnow. Like they did the work. They did the work. Like they had the ugly draft so that they could have the sexy draft with the running back, tight end, and linebacker, right? The Cowboys are a long way away from doing that. I'm talking about draft season right now. The Cowboys are a long way away from even thinking about luxury. And that's what I think trade deadline comes down to. When you're talking about acquiring or buying, it comes down to, are you in position to acquire the luxury picks? Hell no. The Kansas City Chiefs are having conversations with the Saints about Marshawn Lattimore right now. They can do that because it's a luxury pick. They could trade and go get Nuke Hopkins because it's a luxury pick. All right, chat, watch this. The Cowboys go and trade 3 first-round picks for Bijan Robinson right now. Cool, we got a running back, but I mean, but now what? You still suck at one tech. You still suck at defensive line depth and offensive line. Both of your tackles are bad. You know, you still ain't got a wide receiver too. You still, safeties aren't good. You see what I'm saying? So if Jerry Jones came out and said, hey, it's not just one trade that's going to change the culture, that's the one thing I look at Jerry Jones like, yeah, cool, I feel you. I feel you. In order for us to really make a proper Super Bowl run, we're going to have to fire the head coach. Everybody named Mike got to go. Mike McCarthy, Mike Solari, Mike Zimmer, the Mike linebacker, they all got to go. All the Mikes got to leave. That's the first thing you got to do. Okay? Then if Jerry Jones says, all right, look, I fired all the coaches and linebackers named Mike, right? I fired everybody named Mike, right? Even Mike, all the Mikes got fired, right? I fired all the Mikes. And then I traded for 11 players. I somehow found a way to acquire 11 starters. Then the trade deadline makes sense for the Dallas Cowboys, but it doesn't. Trade Zach Martin for picks. He's going to retire anyway. What picks? What picks? What picks? 30-year-old Zach Martin at the end of his contract with bad film out. What, you going to get a 7 for Zach Martin? Man, just let that man retire as a Cowboy, dog. Don't even touch Zach. Don't even touch Zach Martin. We 10 players away, chat. We 10 players away. So that's why it means nothing to me. When I'm watching the game yesterday and I'm just seeing like how the Cowboys navigating, bro. And on top of this idea that Ezekiel Elliott got what I call rollover respect, just in case you're new here, because there's a couple people watching right now. Just in case you're new here, my idea of what rollover respect is, or what does rollover respect mean, Voch? You were good once upon a time and you made a name for yourself, but based on that name for yourself, you get to be good for the rest of your life just for that one time you was really good and you made a name for yourself. So Ezekiel Elliott right now is dealing with the effects, or pardon me, the Cowboys are dealing with the effects that Jerry Jones has given Zeke a bunch of rollover respect. What does that mean, Voch? Well, if Deuce Vaughn missed a practice, or he was late for a meeting, and then he was late for another meeting and he missed the practice, Deuce Vaughn would have been cut after that second meeting that he was late for. Ezekiel Elliott, per Jane Slater, and she's going to be on the podcast Tuesday, allegedly. Y'all might want to tap into my YouTube. Me and Brian Bars are going to talk to Jane Slater here over on YouTube, Voch Lombardi. We're going to tap in with her, but according to Jane Slater, Zeke missed multiple practices. Zeke was late for many meetings and practices. So if that's going to be the case, bro, like, that tells you everything you need to know about your organization. We knew that Zeke wasn't a top tier runner anymore. This is way past Zeke on the field. This is the relationship between your general manager, your running back, your bad players in general, and the rollover respect and how that affects your head coach. Can't wait to ask James Slater that question. Like that affects your head coach. So if Mike McCarthy is affected by all this stuff, what do habitual mean? It means, I don't know if I cuss on Bleach Report. It's habits. You make a habit of the key word habitual is habit. I almost cussed on Bleach Report. I was gonna be like, oh, habitual means, oh, that means when you got them. You know what I'm saying? When you have them. When you have them. What you mean, Voch? Like, what you mean by them? You know, is when you have just, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, back to what I was saying. about trade deadline. I'm not here for it. I'm only here to sell. I'm only here to sell, and I think we're at this point to where the Cowboys should be in the business of evaluating the young talent that they have and seeing what good talent's going to roll over into next season, right? I'm going to come on Bleach Report one day, and I hope y'all all tune into it. Y'all can follow Voch on the Bleach Report thing, and y'all can know when I go live here. I want to know what players are new coach proof. You know what I'm talking about? Like, what players are new coach proof? Like, when Jerry Jones fired Mike McCarthy allegedly one day, I don't know, and we bring in this new coach, and he looks up and down the roster. He go, all right, cool. We're not gonna move on from 4. Let's keep 4. Let's keep 88. 73 is probably a player that we're gonna hold on to. 7 is probably a player we're gonna hold on to. 26 is a player we can keep. Besides those guys, like 13 is a player. No matter who the new coach is, we're probably gonna keep. I would like to know what players are not new coach proof, and then when you find that out, that's when you find out who the hell you can trade at the trade deadline. That's where I'm at with it, right? How can we maximize profits here? I'm trying to maximize profits here, because let's just say it ain't gonna be Ben Johnson, because Ben Johnson deserves to go to a much better organization than this. So when Mike Vrabel or Bill Belichick or Lincoln Riley or something, I don't know, when they're the new head coach for the Dallas Cowboys, because we'll never get a real good coach or nothing like that. When they're the new head coach for the Dallas Cowboys, if they go, hey, this Oso Digizua guy, he's cool, he's all right, but I wouldn't want him a part of my scheme and my program. Then cool, we need to go ahead and get a pick for Oso Digizua right now, right? And I'm more likely to trade these guys quicker because I don't necessarily lean into the comp pick situation, right? I don't like comp picks too much, because if you got Tony Pollard, right? For example, Vice says this: if you trade Tony Pollard when Tony Pollard is scorching hot on his rookie deal in the middle of the season, you might be able to get a 3rd or a 4th for Tony Pollard. Like when he's 1,000-yard rusher, he's going crazy, right? But if you let Tony Pollard hit free agency, the comp pick that you get back is a 6th. We're going to get a 6th-round compensatory pick for Tony Pollard because we just didn't move him. I'd rather go ahead and move Oso Digizua right now and hope I can get a 4 than to let him go to somebody else and he make $38 and we only get a 7th back from him. That makes sense? Personally, I would like Robert Saleh in the building. Of course we would, but Jerry Jones ain't really. Jerry ain't trying to do nothing that makes sense. Ben Johnson as your head coach, and he can have whoever he wants to be the offense coordinator, because in real life he's going to be calling the plays. Robert Saleh to come in to be your DC, like, of course that's perfect. That's perfect. But that's implying that Jerry Jones is going to do anything that makes sense here, and he's not. One name I wanted to talk to y'all about. Let me just ask y'all a question. I was thinking about the Lions when I was watching film or whatever, right? And y'all remember when the Lions went to go get David Montgomery, and they drafted what's his face here? They drafted Jahmyr Gibbs. Bro, I was watching the Cowboys game or whatever, and I was like, bro, I gained a lot of respect for Rico Dowdle last night. I gained a lot of respect for Rico Dowdle last night, and I'll tell you why. Let me just turn my music off when I say this. Because in the face of adversity, Rico Dowdle showed up, he played, and Rico Dowdle gave you everything that he had, and it reflected in the game log or in the stat sheets or whatever, right? It reflected. We know personally that there's some players on this team, man, we ain't got to say nobody's name. We know personally, give y'all a little something while y'all listen to me talking. We know personally that there's players on this team that deal with adversity and they run into problems. They run into issues. You know, maybe they the mental side of things, right? The mental side of things, you know, they get in their own head too much, right? Let me tell you what I like about Rico Dowdle, bro, as I get my film together. Pardon me. Let me tell you what I like about Rico Dowdle, bro. Listen, dog, we all know Rico wasn't sick for the 49er game. We know Rico wasn't sick. We know Rico was fine. And look, this ain't me reporting nothing. This is just my own personal opinion. And this is just me assuming that y'all are smart football people. I turn my music off to say this. We know Rico wasn't sick for that San Francisco game. We know that politics and rollover respect and treachery was afoot. We knew this. We knew this, ladies and gentlemen. You understand? So, dog, if that would have happened to me, and I'm just assuming that Rico didn't like it too much because as an ex-football player, I wouldn't have liked it. I wouldn't have liked it. Bro, let's just say Rico Dowdle did have an attitude about it. Not one time did we see that roll over to the field. Not one time did we see that roll over to the field. Not one time. I gained so much respect for Rico Dowdle because if Rico Dowdle would have said, you know what, y'all love Zeke so much, F it, play him today. If Rico Dowdle would have said that, I'd have respected it. I probably wouldn't have respected it, but I would have understood. I probably wouldn't have understood, but I wouldn't have said nothing to him. If Rico Dowdle came out and said, hey man, y'all love Zeke so much, hey, just roll with him. Just play him. Just play Zeke. Hey, look, just let me be inactive again. Roll with Zeke and let me just test free agency or just trade me for a 7th round pick or just whatever. Or just cut me. If Rico Dowdle would have said that, man, I wouldn't have said nothing crazy about Rico Dowdle. But with all the nonsense going on surrounding the running back position, and all Rico Dowdle did was show up and play, man, you got to respect that, bro. You got to respect that, bro. Rico rushed for 6.2 yards per carry. 12 for 75. And then he came out and caught 5 more passes for 32 yards and a touchdown, bro. All while being surrounded by running back controversy, all while the general manager is doing everything in his power to keep 15 relevant. Man, shouts out to Rico Dowdle, bro. Give him the ball more. Give that dude the football some more. He's earned it. For real. Anyway, chat, y'all have any questions about the nonsense that happened yesterday? The Cowboys getting their ass whooped? Any conversations about draft season? Y'all got any questions about trade deadline stuff? Y'all have anything on that? Y'all have anything on that? I don't think the Cowboys should be involved at all. It would just be wasting picks at this point. Unless we can acquire a player that's so good he's new coach proof. Did you hear what I said?
Did you hear what I said?
Unless we can find a player that's new coach proof, and that'll just roll over till next year. Unless we do that, the Cowboys ain't doing that. Unless we do that, the Cowboys shouldn't even make a move. Unless you can give me Jeffrey Simmons or something, defensive tackle from like Tennessee, like you trade him, sign him to a new deal, and just have him ready to be a stud for the next coach. Unless it's a guy like that, the Cowboys ain't gonna do that though. Like the Cowboys would never do anything that makes sense like that. I'm not in on the trade deadline unless you give me a player that's new coach proof. And that's all I got to say about that. Dak saying he's hurt just to get time off to build his new crib. I mean, if you saw Dak's hand, it was pretty broken. And if you saw Dak on the play where his hamstring got hurt, he was pretty limping. I don't think Dak got a hold on. Dak ain't no bro. You know what I'm saying? Dak ain't no he's not one. Dak ain't no quitter. Like Dak is. I think we're lucky to have him. I think he's one of the most mentally and physically tough players that's ever played football for the Cowboys, especially mentally. And Dak isn't a guy that's going to just go out and just quit on his guys like that. Dak's not a guy that's going to go out and quit. Dak is a dude that even in the midst of contract controversy, when everybody else on his team holds out, Dak still comes to practice while getting his contract worked on. Dak's not a guy that's going to quit in the middle of the season. I have faith in that. I think Dak's really hurt. And I think the organization is going to roll with Cooper Rush because they know who he is and they think Cooper Rush can win some games. But Chad, if you ask me, I think this is the perfect time to see what Trey Lance got. I think this is the perfect time to see what you got in Trey Lance. Roll Trey Lance out there, see if he can win or at least look solid enough, and maybe you'll trade Trey Lance in the offseason, something like that. I don't know, maybe something like that, but I don't think the Cowboys are, or at least I don't think they should be big movers at the trade deadline. One, because I don't think that we have enough picks to acquire the amount of players that I think is going to take to even make sense. Plus, Jerry Jones is goofy. You know what I'm saying? Just Jerry Jones, he's just goofy as hell. Trade D-Law for the draft picks. It depends on if you think D-Law is new coach proof. If D-Law is new coach proof, then you hold on to D-Law. If you think that a new coach is going to come in and look at D-Law and say, go, nah, I'm good on that guy, then you trade D-Law. Cooper Rush looked great yesterday.
It's false. No way. Not this time. We created it. Not this time. No, not this time. It's totally made up. Pure fiction. It's fiction. It's fiction. We made it up. We made this one up. It's a made-up tale. It's a total fabrication. It never happened. It never happened. This one was invented by a writer. Not this time. It never happened. It's false. It never happened. It's a fake. It's fiction. It's an urban legend that never happened. No way. We got you. Not a chance. Not this time. It never happened. It never happened. We made this one up. It's fiction. We made up this one. We made it up. Not this time. Wrong. Not this time. Not this time. You're wrong. Not this time. It never happened.
Mizzy in the chat says, bro, y'all not tired of this team yet? Yeah, we sick and tired of this. Dog, we tired of it. What you mean? Dog? What you mean? This might sound crazy, but I like the idea of bringing in Flacco. For what? That's all good, Kyle. We love you, man. Appreciate it. Trade Michael to the Lions for lots of picks. We don't have the cap space after this year. We definitely have a lot of cap space. We can make $100 million worth of cap space next year. It's just Jerry Jones and them won't. Jerry Jones and them won't. Like, Pat Mahomes signed the biggest contract in football history, and they bring in new players to help their team every day. And they bring in new players every day. The Chiefs haven't stopped bringing in new players. This whole idea that, oh, you sign your quarterback, you can't bring in new players. The Eagles are constantly bringing in new players. You actually save money on your cap by signing Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. I don't know, bro. I'm just talking. Hey, man, I love y'all to pieces. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Hey, y'all got the Bleach Report app already, but tell a friend. You're bogus if you don't bring a friend. Like, let them know to download the Bleach Report app. If they're Cowboy fans, tell them to tap into the Cowboy tab. Even if they're a fan of another team or another sport, they can tap into that tab on Bleach Report. And Bleach Report's doing great things moving forward with streamers. All right. So, hey, if y'all like streams and y'all don't really read the articles, then still tap in, because Bleach Report is doing great things with your local streamers. Okay, so y'all like the video, that's what we about to do. All right, hey, we love y'all to pieces. We'll catch y'all next time. Y'all hold down for the Doski Walsh, the piece of whiskey. We'll catch you on the YouTube at Voch Lombardi and Twitter. Peace. If I can hit my button, if I can just find my button, we're leaving. It's not letting me hit my button. There we go.